Hello, everyone, and welcome to Mayhemtainment. I am your host, JD, and I brought some of my good friends along with me to discuss our topic, which is WCW and the missed opportunities. Not specifically what just led to its downfall. I think we can all agree that that's been covered tenfold by now by
Yep.
many other people. So we're just going to be discussing some of the missed opportunities. Now, many of them are at the end because let's face it, that's when they miss the most amount of opportunities. So I'm joined here on my left, or is it on my right? I'm not sure. Next to me is the Media Maverick, Michael Weldon, and I want to say special thanks to him for grabbing a couple extra visuals for this episode and to help promote it and shout it out and all of that stuff. So I appreciate that, Mike. Well, and he's been a very good asset to the Mayhem Media team since joining. So I'm glad to have him here on this topic as well.
Because when you're mayhem for life.
Exactly. There's absolutely no reason at all. Excuse me while I stretch here a little bit. There's no reason at all that we're just happen to be bringing that up in this episode. So we are going to, and of course, Superfly Johnny Lee from the Rinky Dink BS podcast and the Nice Guy Andy podcasts. And of course, Mike did let me know that on our last episode, I did forget to shout out Calamity Jane specifically. So I want to definitely give a shout out to Calamity Jane as well. So I missed you last time. Missed you last time. I'm making up for it right now with a special shout out. So make sure you go check out Calamity Jane. She's part of Superfly Johnny Lee's team, and along with Sean Johns, who couldn't make it tonight, and that's unfortunate. I was really excited to hopefully have him on this episode, especially. And Big Bearded Dudley from Superfly Johnny Lee's team was also going to try and be on the episode, but he also had work. You know, when you got real life work, that has to trump all.
That's right.
Yep.
All right, guys. Now let's talk the store. Let me do the storefront quick. That's the way. I'm sorry, wrong one. It's been a long day. Storefront, and of course we have the QR code up in the top left corner of the screen. Our logo is in the top right, and the QR code to our storefront is now on the top left. We have a lot of new stuff coming out, and big thanks to Mike for getting us the QR code so that it was something that it was just one less thing that I had to do. So thank you, Mike, for making at least having one less thing that I had to do.
Just trying to pull my weight, boss man.
I appreciate it. You are doing it. And I appreciate it very much. So let's get into the topic now. WCW. And we all know the history. They whooped WWE's ass for many years. What is it,
83 weeks.
83 weeks. That's what it was. I was having
2 years.
One. Yeah. So that was quite an accomplishment at the time. And then, of course, a lot of things started leading to its undoing, not the least of which was contracts. It's hard to sign new people when you have 5 or 6 people on the roster that are going to get paid equal amounts if you bring in anybody over top of them. So that's not a good. There's some business practices, but that's, again, not what we're talking about. Where do you guys want to start? Where do you guys want to start? Superfly Johnny Lee, you're the guest here. Where do you want to start in missed opportunities for WCW?
A missed opportunity is that they let Hulk Hogan convince the referee to count Sting's shoulders down cleanly, 1, 2, 3, and then decide to do the Montreal screw job rehash with Bret the Hitman Hart. Not a very good look because this was supposed to be the storyline.
Absolutely. That was a huge botch because Nick Patrick's count was not that fast. Of course, Nick Patrick had to be in it. The referee of controversy. God bless Nick Patrick for all the hate that he has received because he played a role and he played it damn well.
Sure did.
Yeah. So then that was supposed to be the payoff, for a year and a half of a story. And you finally get the payoff, and then you botch it is just and that goes to Hogan. I don't know this for sure, and if anybody has any facts that say differently, please let me know. But I personally see that whole thing as Hogan not wanting to do the job cleanly to Sting.
Exactly. That's all it comes down to. Because I heard also that Eric Bischoff thought that he wasn't tan enough to beat Hogan.
He wasn't tan enough?
Yep, that's what
That's
Eric
what-
Bischoff has been saying.
That's ridiculous. See, Eric Bischoff, listen, Eric Bischoff has got a great mind for wrestling. There's no questioning that. There's no doubt about that. I don't care that people can say that he only did the NWO or whatever, but no, he did more than that.
Yep.
But what he did, his Bischoff seems to have a hard on. God bless his soul, Hogan. He passed just not too long ago. So rest in peace. And of course, our prayers and stuff are with his family. But we are going to tell the truth on this episode. And yeah, that was just Bischoff just has such a hard on for Hogan, doesn't he?
He does.
It seemed like it just, and I thought maybe after WCW was over that it would end, but it really didn't. Even when he talks about the old days and stuff, he's still very pro Hogan. And I think honestly, at the time when I was a teenager, I would have hated this if Sting would have led the NWO. I would have tore things off my walls. I would have thrown a fit. All of that if Sting would have ended up being the leader of the NWO. But in hindsight, is it not wouldn't that maybe have been the better way to go?
Yes. In hindsight, that would be.
Mike, what do you think?
Like, I've said this to numerous people. I think Sting was the heart and soul of WCW, and he'll even say to this day, like, he wished WCW would have not ended the way it did.
Yeah, for sure, of course. But I think, I think Sting being in the NWO would have been great. And honestly, I've also seen that Scott Hall was the one that pitched Sting on the Crow.
Yep.
So maybe that's why he didn't end up leading the NWO, because I also heard that there was talk. I've also seen rumors and heard rumors that Sting was rumored to be the third guy, that it wasn't going to be Hogan, that there was talk that it was going to be Sting at first. And maybe perhaps it was because Scott Hall's idea of the Crow and the vigilante gimmick that maybe they decided to go that way and then decided to ultimately go with Hogan.
I know. I heard. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Johnny Lee.
That's exactly what I was thinking as well, because it goes against the Crow gimmick that he was pitched, because Crow would not side with the person that killed him. His whole goal is to get revenge on the person. So if he joined the NWO, he would defeat the purpose of why he's wearing the gimmick.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think if he would have joined the NWO, it would have had to be before he debuted the Crow gimmick. I think the Crow gimmick came as a direct result of the NWO. I think they played that great. I think that was actually one of the successes. Of course, the NWO is a success, but that specifically to set Sting up as a member of the NWO at a time when really, as a fan, we were questioning who is NWO and who isn't. Who is next to come from the WWE and join the ranks, and who isn't. So, now for me, I never believed it. As soon as the bogus Sting came out, I knew all wrestlers punch, kick, and have mannerisms unique to themselves. No one delivers the right hand the same way in the professional wrestling business. No one delivers a kick to the midsection the same way in the wrestling business. And I didn't buy the bogus Sting for a second. He didn't have the right mannerisms. But it was perfect. It was a great storytelling because nobody knew, everybody was confused about who was going to be on and who wasn't.
That's right. That is until the real Sting confronted the fake Sting inside that cage.
Yeah. And then having him come in and just whoop the NWO's butt in the War Games match, and then just walk out was just, that was just perfect. Because you're cheering them on and you're like, yes, they're gonna lose. And then he just walks out of the ring. And you're like, no.
That's right.
All right, let's talk. Go ahead, Mike.
I was gonna give my opinion real quick.
Yeah, please.
And then there, not me. I don't know who. Not many fans know that, but Sting was part of both versions of the NWO, the black and white, and the Wolfpack.
I push back on that a little bit. If you're talking about when he fake joined the NWO, that was just part of the thing. I don't consider that a full membership into the NWO. That was just playing the line. So I don't think I don't agree with that completely. I completely see where you're coming from, because there was that time when you didn't know where Sting was right before Uncensored in 97, I want to say. when you didn't know, when he stood before the people of WCW and they just stood there, and then he turned to Hulk Hogan and Hulk Hogan embraced him, and then he sided with the NWO, and then he started walking to him with the ring and stuff. I don't buy any of that. I don't think that was actually him joining the NWO.
And even before that, he was also signed up with Macho Man for a while.
Yes. Oh man, it was so terrible to turn him to the black and white. I would have much preferred to have Sting start leading an army of crows. That's what I thought
they were going for.
Mike, go ahead.
I was like this. I'm gonna try to do my best impression for what I'm about to talk about. The Surfer Sting. Like he defined a whole part of WCW for a while. Like his matches were Flair, and to do my best Dusty impression, to quote what Sting said, "Stinger, baby, we're gonna put some color on your face. We're gonna put some color on your tights. I want you to glow in the dark, baby. And I'm gonna put you in the ring with the Nature Boy, and we're gonna get funky like a monkey, if you will."
Not bad. Mine's a little bit better. Maybe we'll get to that a little later on. All right, let's I want to talk about, I'm going to shift from the NWO now. I want to talk about something else. Another missed opportunity. Right here it is.
Oh man. That would have been huge.
Having Sting and the Hitman in the same company and not have them do something legitimate together is just that was a huge mistake on my part. In my opinion, you have these guys tag team, you have them crush it, you have them pop and have the huge fan, like right out of the WWE playbook. I don't like much about the WWE, but the one thing you can't say is that they know how to take two top faces, two world champions, two people who should be and could be world champions. I'm just going to throw some names out there, like a Triple H and a Stone Cold, who were tag team champions at the same time that they were the world champion and the Intercontinental champion, respectively. Sting and Bray, you could have run that whole storyline, had them be the tag champs, have them run roughshod over it, and then have something happen where one turns on the other. And honestly, I would have preferred a Sting heel turn against Bret than I would have that they tried to do against Hogan, because everybody hated Hogan at that point. So no one, even when Hogan was a face, as soon as he started beating up the face Hogan, they were still cheering Sting. I think honestly, doing something similar to Bret Hart, like having Sting screw Bret, that would have been the perfect setup to actually, and then that would have put legitimate heat on Sting for the only time that he would ever get heat in his career. And you can't say he got heat in TNA, even through all his gimmicks, even when he was with the was it not the Millionaires Club?
Main Event.
Yeah, the Main Event Mafia. Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, even when he was with the Main Event Mafia, they still cheered him. Even when he tried to be a heel, they always cheered him. The only way I see for Sting to have actually been able to be a legitimate heel would have been to do a turn on Bret and screw Bret. So I think that's what I think. Johnny Lee, what do you think on Bret and Sting?
That was one of the matches that should have happened when you knew that Bret Hart had signed with WCW. You thought for sure that they were going to do something big. Bring in Bret Hart. Sting needed someone to be inside his corner. Why not have Bret Hart start out there? But no. Instead, they said, hey, you know what? We're going to do a rehash of what just happened to you at the Montreal November screw job. So let's do it again. Just a month later. And after that, Bret Hart never did anything substantiated.
No, he really, I mean, they put the belts on him for a little while, but that wasn't really, and even when they rebooted the NWO with the NWO 2000 and the silver and the black, and Bret and Jeff Hart were kind of leaders or whatever they were during that time. That wasn't, it wasn't good. I mean,
and it was nothing like it.
Yeah, the stuff they could have set up with Sting, and they started to, but then decided to go away from it for whatever reason, was just that was money. That would have carried them for another 6 or 8 months. You could have milked that for probably even longer, maybe.
Exactly.
Mike, do you have any thoughts on Bret and Sting? Or any further thoughts on Bret and Sting?
You talking to me or you talking about to Johnny, JD?
Mike, sorry, yes, you, Mike.
Okay. I just think it was a missed opportunity because you had the sharpshooter that Bret did and the Scorpion Deathlock that Sting did, and there's the debate on who would have done it better during the match.
That's the other thing. Let's talk about that for just a second then, since you brought that up, Mike. Great point. the Scorpion Deathlock and the Sharpshooter. Obviously, to the casual wrestling watcher, these are similar moves, just done, and actually they're not done with different legs, because in the Bret Hart, in the WWE, Bret Hart used the Sharpshooter with his right leg. He only started using it with his left leg when he joined WCW. So they're the same move right down to what leg you feed through. But they're not the same move, are they?
They're a little different.
Sting applies it a little bit differently. His step over is a little different. The way he holds the legs once he's stepped over on the brink. Yeah, it's a little bit.
Got his from Sting because he asked Sting if he could do that move, and then he was doing the different leg from Sting, and that was out of respect.
Is that right?
Yep.
Okay, good stuff. And I happen to know that Sting probably just gave it to him, because I'm pretty sure Sting, if I'm not mistaken, and someone can correct me if I'm wrong, Sting stole it from someone he saw in Japan do it. Exactly. He said he saw someone in Japan do it, and he liked it and brought it to the States.
That's right.
Speaking of Bret Hart, I don't know if they ever did it, because I have not watched all of WCW's archives yet, but if they did or if they didn't, but if they didn't, I think them not doing Dean Malenko versus Bret Hart, like the man of 1,000 hoes versus the excellence of execution.
I could agree with that. Yes, I could agree with that. That would have probably been a really great technical wrestling match to watch. Just I don't know who remembers, and I don't know who's going to remember this. Who remembers after Owen died, the match between Bret and Chris Benoit, and if I'm not mistaken, they put it on a Thunder. It wasn't even on a Nitro.
Yep.
It was on a Thunder.
Yeah, I've watched that. Yep.
That was one of the best matches in WCW's library.
It is.
That's crazy. I mean, those putting those two in the ring, when I watched them, I was like, this is one of the best matches I've seen in a long time from WCW.
Yeah.
Yeah. Benoit, one of the best talents there was, and to quote Paul Heyman, one of the best talents, but everything else, he was just a hell of a talent.
Yeah, absolutely, and I agree fully with Paul Heyman. Okay, on that. Okay, just that's perhaps maybe another topic we save for another time. Maybe we can get some of the other guys, Johnny Lee, on this episode.
Yep.
But, do you ignore a person's legacy or what they've done because of something that happened at the end of their life or something that happened in their life? Do you ignore how they did that? I use Michael Jackson as the same way. Do you ignore his history just because he's shrouded he's been shrouded in a bunch of really bad mystery? But do you still ignore how he changed pop? I don't see how you do that. I don't think you
really can't. Especially because Chris Benoit, the wrestler, was fantastic inside the ring. And even though Chris Benoit, the person, wasn't like that, you can't ignore that the wrestler was inside the ring.
Yeah, you just can't. It's just not possible for you to ignore what he did in the ring, no matter what he did at the end of his life. And it was awful. It was heinous. It's terrible. I don't even want to talk about it because there's so many things that shouldn't have probably happened in that situation. Exactly. But you still can't ignore what he did and what he accomplished in the ring, because he accomplished an unbelievable amount. And then one last little side note here on the Bret Hart issue, because we were talking, Johnny Lee, about Sting and Bret Hart having the world title and the tag titles. And here you go. You have Bret with the world title, and he's tagging, he won the tag belts with Goldberg. So WCW did do it, just not with Sting and Bret.
How about that whole Goldberg Bret Hart thing? Man. Seeing that
man. You know what, dude? When I got this visual, I never even thought about, like, oh man, we're probably gonna have to discuss the Bret Hart Goldberg thing now. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
I was just just proving my point about the double champion.
Yep.
Yeah. Listen, I'm not a huge Goldberg fan. Not as a person. I don't know him as a person. So I'm sure he's a fine person. I don't know anything about him personally. I've never really bothered to look anything up either. In the ring, I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of Bill Goldberg, the wrestler. Not a little bit. Not a tiny bit. Not even grossly. There's not even a speck of desire to see him wrestle anyone ever, anywhere. in the history of all things across the multi-universe.
Plus, they tried to make us watch him and Undertaker wrestle each other, and it was not good. And it proves my point about the past when he wrestled Bret Hart, because Bret Hart's a great technician, and he put him up against this guy, and this guy ain't nothing compared to him.
Nope. And he ended up, he did, say what you want. Accidents happen in the ring. Sure.
Yep.
Sure. Accidents happen in the ring. And Goldberg has a history of being completely 100% safe in the ring. So accidents happen, but Goldberg was the one that kicked him in the head and caused him to have a concussion, which led to everything else. Now, should Bret Hart still be holding a grudge like that? No, probably not. He probably needs to suck it up and let it go at this point. It's way in the past.
Here's the kicker, though.
Go ahead.
He forgave Goldberg a couple of years ago for that kick, and now he went back on that entire apology that he accepted.
Yeah, and he started. Yeah, he's still out there talking about it. Anytime they bring it up, well, he wants to talk shit about him, and I understand why, but at this point, you have to move past it. Let it go and move past it. Mike, do you have anything to say on the Goldberg Bret?
Not on the Goldberg Bret, but just how WWFE, whatever you wanted to call it, what it was at the time. I'll call it WWF, but they made their own version of Goldberg just to spite him.
Yeah, Gilbert.
Yeah.
Gilbert.
Yeah, Gilbert. And then people say that
Gilbert.
I can't remember his name. He's one of the newer guys. He's been around a little while.
It was actually a damn good
Ryback.
Yeah. I guess I've seen that he's compared to Goldberg.
Ryback.
Yeah, I think that's more to do with the fact that Ryback is also dangerous in the ring.
Ryback.
Yeah, no, I think more. Yeah,
that's right.
If you're talking about like how safe he is in the ring, then I can see the comparison. But no, that's about the only compare. Oh, they're both bald.
And Ryback is also he cries like he tries to make himself like he's the bat, like he's been done wrong.
Yes. Mike, is there any point you want to bring up? I have some more, but I want to throw it to you. Is there any point you want to talk about in WCW where they missed an opportunity you think was big?
Well, as you know, like how WWE has their game they release every year, like WCW at one time had their own games. They were releasing.
Oh yeah, me too, man. I played that for I can't even tell you how many hours I lost in that game, and it was such a crap game, right? I mean, at the time it was great.
Yep.
But in hindsight, it's really very low on the totem pole in terms of like best wrestling games. I would classify it very low on the ladder. That's just my opinion of it. I'm also not. I've never been a fan. What about you guys? Are you guys a fan of wrestling games that are like button mashers, where you got to do button combinations like Nitro was? Or are you more like the SmackDowns and the SmackDown and Raw series where you kind of use like the right stick and stuff to signify the moves, or various buttons to do moves instead of like a button mashing?
I'm more SmackDown and Raw and all.
Yeah.
Because button mashing hurt. Like having to constantly mash buttons, it's just your fingers cramp.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm more of a fan of Here Comes the Pain and SmackDown 2.
Yeah. Those were the original SmackDown. Say what you will about them. They revolutionized. They're the reason we have the wrestling games we have now.
Yep, and they were fun.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they were. I played the crap out of that, man. And they didn't let us it wasn't until SmackDown 3 or 4 that they finally let us have more than 4 creator wrestlers.
Yep.
Boy, that was my biggest complaint for the first 3 was only having 4 creator wrestlers. What kind of nonsense is that?
The third game allowed you to go over the barricade into the fans, and then they took that out until a couple years later, where instead of going into the fans, you just go into that don't have the fans now.
Yeah. Yeah, the backstage areas. Yeah, I mean the backstage areas were fun-ish, I guess. Yeah, they were fun. I wasn't one to always go outside. Like I'm not one to take the match outside the ring. I'll beat you in the squared circle, dude.
That's right. Unless you're doing a death match with each other.
Yeah. Of course, absolutely. All right. One other thing, and I'm going to talk about, and then I'll throw it back to you guys, see if there's any other things. One of the missed opportunities here, the 4 Horsemen. I have the two pictures. I have the second to last incarnation, and then the last incarnation. And now I did try and find one where with Kurt Hennig, Mr. Perfect, and that's one of the reasons I want to bring this up. We have comments, and I wasn't paying attention. Oh, Robbie.
Yep.
Our graphic artist, Robbie H. He is responsible for designing the our Mayhem logo and several other things. WCW on the 64. Yo, that is classic. WCW on the 64, guys. And Attitude. Right. Attitude was really great, but I didn't like the mechanics so much, actually, on that.
Yeah.
Again, it was the button combinations where you had to do the moves. There was no like lockups and stuff. So that was why I didn't really care so much for that.
Kind of like my first game for PlayStation 1, WWF Warzone.
Warzone, I have that too. Yeah, Warzone was a I liked that game, but there was a lot I didn't like about it, like how you could never pick your opponent.
Yes.
How is that? That never made any sense to me. And the roster size.
But yeah, about that Four Horsemen.
Yeah, the Four Horsemen. Let's go back to that. Oh man, what the heck's going on? My visuals. Sorry, guys, we're still having a few issues with StreamYard.
That's all right, fella.
So here we have the last incarnation. This is the second to last incarnation. This is probably the last time that they were really and great, if you want to use that, because they were doing some stuff. You know, Bischoff didn't really like the Four Horsemen. They thought they were outdated and stuff. So he was kind of getting ready to shovel them out the door anyway. And the final formation, and this is my only problem with this, is that Mongo is clearly not well. When they reunite the Horsemen, you could see. Like, even when he comes out in the tux and stuff, and he has like 2 or 3 matches after they reunite the Horsemen, and then he's pretty much off TV. So I think Dean Malenko was a great addition to a Horseman. I think he fit the Horseman mold. I think it was great to see him become a Four Horseman, and I would have loved to have seen. What I wanted to see there was Kurt Hennig. That's what I wanted to see. I wanted to see Kurt Hennig replacing Arn Anderson. And then you have Mongo, and then maybe eventually when Mongo's done, you bring in Dean to replace Mongo. But I think though, if you put Kurt Hennig in those final 2 formations of the Four Horsemen, I don't think that they're as weak as they are. I think they actually become a force, and they actually become something recognizable again if they would have kept Kurt Hennig after that whole Arn Anderson offering him the enforcer spot. And I think that is the reason I bring up the Horsemen, and the reason I bring all that up is because I think that moment in Nitro was huge. It drew massive ratings. People were talking about it the entire next week, all the way up until Fall Brawl, when Kurt Hennig then decided to turn on the Horsemen and join the NWO and have it be 5-on-3. That I think that was terrible. I think that was a big mistake.
You hit the money on.
Go ahead, Johnny Lee.
You hit the money on the head, because that was a terrible mistake.
Yeah, the NWO
was definitely Four Horsemen material.
Yeah, and the NWO was still bloated at that point. They didn't need Kurt Hennig. Kurt Hennig had a way better future and had opportunity for story with the Four Horsemen, even against the NWO. But with the NWO, he just became another guy. Him and Rick Rude just became another guy. And I think that was a huge missed opportunity. I think they captured something, making Kurt Hennig the new enforcer spot. And I think they lost that big time. They missed out big time on that one. I think that was huge, not just for merchandise. I think for stories, everything. So I think that was a big one.
Exactly.
And
go ahead.
Yeah. Also, as you know, Mongo, he passed away earlier this year.
Yeah, he did.
God bless his soul.
Yep.
Say what we will about him in ring, but he was actually a really good guy.
And he wasn't that bad. You know, he wasn't that bad in the ring. And yeah, you could say that he was a horseman of chance. Of course, if you ask me honestly, I don't think Mongo belongs in the Four Horsemen. He was a rookie.
He's a horseman for that time.
Yeah. The Horsemen were supposed to be for excellence. And I get that he's a great football star, but the Horsemen were always represented the excellence, the best in wrestling. And Mongo, I'm sorry, being that he was.
Who would be there? if
Yeah,
not Mongo.
Yeah, well, true. You make a good point, though. Who else could you have gotten at that time without Mongo? Yeah, you're right about that. But I still think, I do think that he wasn't, I don't think he was Horseman material. But for whatever, you say what you will about his skill and whether or not he actually belonged in the Horseman, he did always represent the Horseman. And that's what I loved. Every time down to the ring, he would hold up the 4 fingers. Every time. Every time the Horseman needed to come down to the ring, he would run down to the ring and be involved. He was a horseman, and that's what I respected. That's what I respected about him. He may not have fit in, or he may not have fit the mold at first, but after they brought him in, he really kind of embodied the 4 horsemen, and that is really something that they needed. Benoit was always holding the 4 fingers up, even when Ric Flair disbanded the Horsemen and stuff. But and even Mongo did too. Mongo and Benoit still held the 4 fingers up after that. After Flair disbanded the Horsemen after the events of Fall Brawl and Kurt Hennig. But I think Mongo really embodied it after he became a Horseman. He really did a good job of it, embodying it and becoming what the Horseman was about. So I do respect that.
That's right.
And
go ahead, Mike.
Also, as you know, Dean Malenko, he's now having some health issues himself.
He's been actually having some health issues for a little while, believe it or not.
Yeah. Like every picture I see of him, he has like a cane or a walker. He's having trouble walking.
Yeah. Robbie says for its time, I loved it. He's talking about the WWF attitude.
Which sucks.
Yes, it does. And WWF attitude. And yes, for the time, it was at the time, you're right. It was a great game. At the time, it was. And WrestleMania 2000, that was one of the ones that really revolutionized wrestling gaming for the N64, in my opinion. Because that's where I played WrestleMania 2000, was on the N64. And that really, I think that changed a lot of things for wrestling games, was WrestleMania 2000. So the creator wrestler in that, the amount of moves you had to be able to you could completely make a unique wrestler. And that was the first game where you had that level of customization. There were other games that had good customization, but not that level of customization, where down to the moves, where you could pick how they get up and stuff. WrestleMania 2000, now that's standard in all games. You choose how you get up and how you hold a weapon and how you walk and stuff. WrestleMania 2000, that was the first one that really went that in depth for that kind of creator wrestler. And Robbie H agrees. Thank you, Robbie. So where was I? We're done with the 4 horsemen. We talked about them. Anybody else? Either you guys have anything else you guys want to bring up about the missed opportunities that WCW may have missed?
There was a missed opportunity, and his name is Mike Awesome.
Mike Awesome.
Because he came in WCW at such a time when they were having such shitty booking decisions and bad times that you would have thought this man would have been pushed to the moon. He had the look, he had the moveset, and all he did was them to push him. And every time that he got any kind of momentum, they take it away from him just like that and give him a shitty gimmick. And it killed his gimmick.
Yeah, I think that WCW is guilty of that with the ECW guys, just as WWE is guilty of that with the WCW guys.
Yep.
So yeah, I think that's so ridiculous. Actually, while I don't like how AEW will bring in someone from the WWE and then very soon after put a belt on them, I'm not really necessarily a fan of that. I like that they don't make them job a whole bunch and put all over their roster just to prove themselves. I do like that. It was bad practices back in the day to do that. Just because you acquired or absorbed or picked up your competition, and then now you just have to have them job to all your guys just to, show how big your guys are. It's just ridiculous.
Exactly.
And if we ever do it, I'm sorry, Mike, I'll let you go in 1 second. But if we ever do a WWE missed opportunities, that will be number 1 on my list. Is the WCW invasion number 1, NWO invasion number 2. Those will be the top 2 on my list.
You're damn iffy.
Yeah, so maybe we'll try and put that together and have Sean Johns and
hell yeah, we will,
and Big Bearded Dudley and everybody and all that stuff on for that.
And maybe we could do a part 2 of this WCW, because I'm pretty sure those guys probably know something that they thought about as well.
I'm sure that they have stuff that they would like to talk about that we haven't even touched on.
Because things like this many topics can be brought out, but because there's so many opportunities that were missed by WCW and WWE both. Even
Yeah.
ECW is at fault for this.
Oh yeah. Yeah, ECW wouldn't put over their WCW and WWE guys when they would pick them up right away. They would have to like
Nope.
job for a while first. And Robbie H, I agree with you. The wrestling game, he said that, and you had all the cool stuff unlocked, meaning you didn't have to unlock it. It wasn't behind a paywall. You know, it wasn't. It was just there, and that's what.
Damn,
Also,
Skippy.
that's what also games are missing. Is it just being there?
Yeah, 2K25. You gotta buy the DLC, and that's just extra money cutting out of your pocket. Just get everything.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I haven't bought a WWE game in a long time.
Exactly.
Mike, you were going to say something. I want to throw it to you. Mike, we lost your audio.
Oh, sorry. I had myself
problem.
muted. I muted myself.
It's all good.
One of the biggest missed opportunities is, of course, like during the Monday Night Wars, when WCW had beaten WWF at the time for 83 weeks, and they just kind of took their foot off the gas and just took their foot off the tiger's neck, and they let their booking and creative just go to shit.
Yeah, absolutely. Mike, I need you to take over for just a second.
Okay.
So
yeah, like
if you want to talk about the Monday Night War a little bit, or and if you have another missed opportunity, I'm sorry, give me 1 second. I'll be right back.
Okay. I can agree with Mike, because it seems like once they knew that they'd beaten WWF for all those 83 weeks, it's like around 1998 is when they start taking their foot right off the gas. They'd already beaten them from 95 until 97's end. And now their foot starts getting off the brake. And after that, the biggest grievances I have, they had Sting talk. They stripped him of the title, and his first words are, you got no guts. And he looks at Hogan, points his bat at him, he's like, and you're a dead man. No. That killed the Crow gimmick completely, and he should not have been the Crow at all. A lot of things.
I got one. The finger poke of doom.
God.
Oh man, how did I miss that one?
How do you go from beating WWF for 83 weeks to suddenly you're like, yeah, Hogan Nash, y'all doing such a great idea to do this finger poke of doom. Let's do it. Let's count the program. Mankind beating.
That was them trying to
championship.
Yeah, that was them trying to save the NWO, I think, because they were still trying to milk it. And I don't know why they didn't push the Wolfpack more.
And they killed the Wolfpack.
They should have dissolved. They should have dissolved the Black and White, had the Wolfpack win the war, and then it could have been WCW against the Wolfpack. At least you'd have got a little bit more time out of it.
But here's the thing that I realized too: the Wolfpack didn't do shit when they got together. All they did was the same promo week in, week out, and I'm like, oh my God, how did I miss that? They had a cool thing. They had the colors that were cool, but then other than that, they didn't do anything.
Nope. And they should have kept. They should have had. I get why Page didn't join the Wolfpack. He was kind of WCW's last really he was their last standard bearer, especially once Sting had joined the Wolfpack and stuff. DDP was really all WCW had left, and Goldberg. But again, we've already discussed him.
Yep.
So losing Page and then all you have is Goldberg on your WCW roster probably wasn't the right move, but I would have loved to have seen Page in the Wolfpack, and I think they should have had the Wolfpack and the Black and White battle more. There was definitely a storyline that they could have told there, and they chose not to. I really don't know why. They ended up just giving them the tag belts. No Rumble with the NWO Black and White over the heavyweight championship. They put the tag belts on Sting and Nash, and that was kind of what they did. Macho Man was the champion, and Kevin Nash was a champion. I think during the Wolfpack time, but and Nash was only a champion for 24 hours. Then he dropped it to Hogan.
In that dreaded finger poke of doom.
Yeah, and you know what, Kevin Nash, I've heard that Kevin Nash is actually proud about that because we're still talking about it because it's something we're still talking about. Yeah, but we're not talking about it in a positive light.
Exactly.
We're saying how terrible it was, how it was the worst, one of the worst things that has happened in wrestling.
And he's forgetting that if you want a moment to be talked about, you don't want it to be talked about in a negative light. You want it to be something that's going to stand out with the fans and always bring them back to it.
Yeah.
But all we're getting from it is that him and Hogan were too shitty to put their egos aside and try to do something that was actually better than what Mankind getting the WWF title was going to be.
Yeah. Yeah. They started making the wrong decisions. I don't know if it was Bischoff. Again, it just seemed like it was always about protecting Hogan. The belt stays on Hogan.
Also, they had creative control.
Yep. Oh, that too. Yep. Kevin Nash had creative control. Hogan had creative control. Hall had creative control. Many, many, many people had creative control. I think even Sting had creative control, but he wasn't a selfish. He wasn't a selfish, whatever.
And he didn't let it get to his ego like they did. They were letting their egos run wild.
Yeah, absolutely.
I only have one more moment I know to talk about.
Go ahead.
3 names that are involved in one of the matches that is known for WC at the end of the WCW: Jeff Jarrett, Vince Russo, Hulk Hogan.
Oh yes. I'm not.
Man.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of Jeff Jarrett. I think Jeff Jarrett's one of the smartest people in all of wrestling history. Though I'm not a big fan of him, but he's one of the smartest people in the wrestling industry. Who else parlayed contract after contract from one company to the next to make more money? And then finally, when he had made so much money, he started his own wrestling company.
And put the belt on himself.
Yeah, to put the belt on himself. But then he still ended up selling it, and you know what I mean, and made money. Like, dude, and now he's in AEW. They're going to be putting belts on him in AEW. You know they are. You know Jeff Jarrett's going after that world title one more time.
He's going to be like, hey, Tony, you know me. I could be a world champion. Let's put the belt on me. It'll bring big views, brother.
And Tony Khan is fan enough to do it.
He is, because
that's the problem.
You know what, Jeff? I like that idea.
Yeah, but see, that's the problem though. You can be a fan and run a wrestling company, but you have to be able to separate being a fan from business. And I don't know that Tony. Yeah, I'll be honest. I think more often than not that has worked to Tony Khan's advantage. We have gotten to see wrestlers who have never wrestled each other ever wrestle each other. We've got to see some really high quality banger matches. Even though AEW doesn't put them on a lot, we've gotten some good 40, 45, 60-minute matches. So I do think that part of Tony Khan does work to his advantage, but then it doesn't when it comes to people like CM Punk and potentially Jeff Jarrett. The fan thing doesn't work. You have to be able to separate the business and the fandom and know which fandom is good for business and which isn't.
It's a detriment to him that he does not know how to separate the fanboy in himself and try and be a businessman.
Yep. And CM Punk is a perfect example of that. Okay. You don't suspend somebody, bring them back, and then allow them to pick who he wants to work with on the roster, make a new world title specifically for him. Didn't that sound like, wait a minute. We were just talking about this just a few minutes ago, right? Yeah. Hogan and WCW.
Exactly. And CM Punk himself was trying to argue against having a show dedicated to himself. He's like, Tony, you don't bring me back and have a show dedicated to me. That's just going to cause more problems. All right, if you want me to, then I'll have my guys be on my show. They have their guys on Dynamite, and we'll do it. But then here's the thing that Tony Khan contradicts himself with. He allowed one of their guys, Jack Perry, and a bunch of other guys from their camp to be on Collision, so it caused more problems.
Yep. I don't know. Yeah, I think, like I said, the Tony Khan is a fan, but he's also, I think he did that intentionally. I think he thought the controversy was going to bring in people and make people interested in it. But
he probably thought they was like Eric Bischoff. Okay, we're gonna bring on someone that CM Punk might not like. Bring on some of the Young Bucks people and say, we're gonna create some controversy. Yeah, we're gonna make big bucks off this. And
yep.
Then he found out.
Yeah,
Nope.
it backfired. Yeah, it backfired on him, and he learned a lesson the hard way right there. that kind of controversy hurts your business. It doesn't help it because then your loyal fans are like, we don't turn it on for this. This is not why we're turning it on.
And to go back to Jeff Jarrett, the whole Sting, Hogan, him, and Vince Russo, that was the dumbest thing that they could have done because we're at the tail end of WCW, and these guys are deciding to do this thing, which one party's thinking is a work shoot, and the other party is thinking that's a shoot, and it just did not look good for any party there.
No, it didn't. That was a really bad. And but again, that all goes back to because Hogan was going to shoot a movie.
Yep.
So they wanted to not take the belt from him, so he didn't job it. It was going to be another dirty victory or whatever, and then he would come back in the spring or whatever and reclaim his title. And again, that's what I'm saying. That's all Hogan was. Hogan was come back, win the title. I'm going to go shoot a movie.
Yep.
Hold my belt. All right, I'm back. Give me my belt back.
That's right, brother. That don't work for me, brother. Give me my belt back. He pulled that off whenever Vince Russo cut that promo. Then he get mad. He's like, "No, I'm not coming back to WCW after Vince Russo did that. He threw me underneath the bus, brother."
And it was because he was called bald. Why he called him a bald, or he mentioned the word bald actually.
Yeah.
Mike, you're the one that brought this up. Do you have anything constructive to say about it? You son of a bee.
Just like seeing Jeff just lay down in the middle of the ring, it's just like it didn't sit right with a lot of people.
No, it was no.
And remember, he was the chosen one.
However, yeah, you know what though? At the time, it was terrible for business. But at the time, you know what? I was also half cheering. I was in shock. I was half in shock. Like, what is this really? Is this a work or a shoot? Is this part of the show, or is this are we completely off script at this point? So half of me was thinking that, but then the other half of me was thinking, yes,
and some work shoots can work.
Yeah, I was like, yes, take the belt off Hogan. Yes, that's the Hulk Hogan Retirement Championship belt. Yes. Vince Russo, say what you want, and he a lot of his ideas were bad. Okay, we can say that even maybe upwards of 98% or more are bad. Okay, but him not wanting the belt on Hogan
was smart.
Was the only what might have been the only thing that he had a smart idea that he had, but it was a smart idea.
That's right.
So you can say what you want about Vince Russo, but he did not want Hogan as the champion, and neither did anybody else.
And unfortunately, Jeff Jarrett was not a draw because you put the towel on him and the fans just didn't gravitate to him. Even though he had the look, he had the ability inside the ring, he could cut decent promos on the mic. He just wasn't drawing a dime.
Do you know why?
He's the guy that they chose.
Do you know why? You know why I think that is? Why he doesn't draw the way he thinks he does?
Why is that?
Because of him playing hopscotch with WCW and WWE.
Oh, you're right.
WCW was doing an angle with Mongo with Deborah in the middle. And then his contract ran out before the payoff. So he just left. Then his contract was running out when he was supposed to lose the title to China and then held WWE over a barrel for more money so that China could beat him. Now that I don't blame him for. If I'm going to be beaten by a woman, you're going to be giving me a nice big paycheck with a bunch of zeros after it too. And then he skipped and went back to WCW. And then look what he did when he ran TNA. He put the belt on himself. I think people know who he is and don't want to buy it from him. That's why I'm hoping in AEW he stays away from the world title. Because if he stays away from the world title, he might actually gain some relevancy in the AEW. I don't think he should ever actually go for the belt. I don't think he should ever win the belt. Even if he goes for it, he should lose. But if he stays away from it, and they don't, and they haven't kept the TNT championship. They only had him on that for a real short time, right? Yeah. So see, that kind of stuff's okay. I think that's okay. I think you can create some interest around Jeff Jarrett as long as he's not going after the gold and the belt all the time. I think you're going to run into problems. You start doing that with Jeff Jarrett.
Here's one final WCW missed opportunity. When you give Booker T his first ever WCW World Heavyweight Championship, and then you decide to have him lose it, and then you just have him keep on hot potato until he's now at 5 times. That was not good for Booker T. Because that was a big moment for him to have the World Heavyweight Championship. He should have held that for a long time. He shouldn't have had it getting lost and then win it back. Lost, then win it back.
My only problem with Booker T was I wasn't a fan of the bookend.
I get that. The bookend was basically like a bootleg rock bottom.
Yeah, it was just basically rock bottom. So, well, your podcast, Johnny Lee, is commenting. Superfly, what are you doing?
You know what I'm doing, Nice Guy Andy podcast. I'm doing business. I'm networking with other podcasts, which we're supposed to be doing, brother.
Yeah, he's working. What are you guys doing? It looks like you guys are watching us. We're working. What are you guys doing over there at Nice Guy Andy? Looks like you're just leaving comments. And then Emily.
Hi, Emily.
Oh, Emily. Okay. Yep.
She's our intern.
Thank you for bringing. Oh, she's the intern. Hello, intern.
That's right.
I'm a big fan of calling interns and prospects by their title. So until you're not an intern, I'm gonna refer to you as the intern. Just like I call Michael the prospect sometimes, though he doesn't know that. He does now, but he didn't know that beforehand.
That doesn't work for me, brother.
But now he does. Oh, it doesn't matter what works for you. I'm in charge around here. Look at me.
That's right.
Look into my eyes. I'm the captain now.
Listen here, 5 minutes.
Look at me. He says he's the captain.
Andrew Watkins, he wants to know who I am to be questioned what he's doing.
Johnny, who is this guy to question what I'm doing? This is JD of Mayhem Media, Andy. I don't know why you're asking that, because you should already know. If he wants to question you, he can question your brother. Come on,
man. Yeah, I come and watch you guys all the time. So yeah,
that's right.
Some love.
Exactly. Show some love. Like we do.
Yeah, show some love, and then I think Johnny Lee has the same kind of policy. Show some love, and then get back to work.
That's right.
And thank you, Emily, for allowing me to call you the intern.
That's right.
You do have a unique name, though. I'm gonna get comfortable with saying that. So probably intern probably won't last long.
Don't worry, because back before I got to know how to actually pronounce her name, I was saying Emily.
That's what I was just about to call her.
At the time, she had Emeli. But then once I got to know her some more, when I realized, oh shit, it's Emily or Emily.
Yep. I was about to call her Emily with an I. That's what I assumed it was how it was pronounced.
I get that.
So it's good to know, Emily. So she is the intern over there at the Nice Guy Andy podcast. And
and she's Sean's bonus daughter.
Oh yeah, nice. Okay, it's a Mexican name. Okay,
that's
good
right.
Information to have also. I also definitely did not know that. I love learning new things. So this has been a great episode. We got to talk about a bunch of stuff, and I got to learn something new. So I love episodes like that. The one last thing I'm going to say about WCW is if you want to see the worst match ever in all of wrestling history, other than Sting and Jeff Hardy, you want to watch Steven Regal against Bill Goldberg.
That's right, because Bill Goldberg got exposed as a jackass.
Oh man, big time. That is one of the hardest matches for a fan to watch, because it is just awful. It is just awful. And it is not Steven Regal's fault. It is not you. It is so clearly whose fault it is in that match. He is totally exposed Goldberg in that match. Totally.
That's right.
And if you disagree, if you disagree with that, there's only one way to settle it, and to use William Regal's phrase, "War Games."
That's right. Then again, they won't be able to find another Bill Goldberg, so there shall look.
Yeah, go look that match up though. That's the except for Sting and Jeff Hardy, that's the worst match of all time. And Sting and Jeff Hardy only classify as number one for very, very, very different reasons. It has nothing to do. These are like separate category number ones. Okay, the Jeff Hardy and Sting matches. There's a reason that's crap. And Regal and Goldberg, it's because of Goldberg.
That's right.
Well, thank you, Superfly Johnny Lee, for joining us
welcome,
again on Mayhemtainment. I always appreciate you coming on, and I'm I always share you guys out, even though I can't come on your show right now. I still like to comment, share you guys out, do my part to help you guys as well. So I appreciate that you take the time to come on. Hopefully next time we can get a couple more of your guys coming on.
Hell yeah.
They get a better a work schedule day, or we'll pick a different day that works for them. So hopefully we can do that. And next week, look for, or is it this week? This weekend, I'm going to be releasing. I don't think I have yet, unless I have. I don't think I released the episode of Mayhem Media where we talk with Jacob the Wolfman about his autism. I don't know if I had that posted or not. Michael, do you happen to know if I had posted that episode?
I don't think you have.
I don't think I have either. So it was meant to be posted already. It was an oversight, definitely on my part, but it's been a hard couple of days. So look for it in a couple of days this weekend. We're going to have the episode. We'll be releasing the episode with the Wolfman, and he's going to talk about his autism. And that's going to be, it's a great episode. So you want to, you definitely
And
want
he
to
said thank you.
Yep, absolutely. Thank you, sir. Thank you for tuning in to us. Check out the storefront. You can scan the QR code up there in the corner. And because Mike's here, we'll put up his storefront real quick. So this one is now, it's hard to tell the difference. So right now it's the Media Mania for Mike. All right. And then this is the Mayhem Media storefront. So go check out our storefronts, pick up some gear. Austin Diamond gear now available in the Mayhem Media storefronts. Pick that up.
Good guy. Austin Diamond. Diamonds are forever, baby.
Absolutely. The cold-blooded one himself. And
also,
I'm sorry, Mike. I want to make people understand that that we're licensed to sell his gear, which means he still makes money off of it. So don't be afraid to pick up some gear from him, from our storefront, because he will also still make a percentage of the profits. So even buying merch on our storefront still helps Austin. So I just wanted to make sure everybody was clear on that in case they thought I was trying to, take advantage or make money off of him or anything. He's going to be making money also. So please buy from the storefront.
That's right.
Mike, you wanted to say something else?
Oh yeah. In November, be looking for the Media Maverick the Media Maverick's making a trip to Lexington, Kentucky.
Oh yes. Yeah. He's going to be going on the Nice Guy Andy podcast. He's going to be going in the studio. Right. So the first Mayhem guy to actually be on the Nice Guy Andy podcast. Of course, I've been on Calamity Jane's podcast, but Mike will be the first Mayhem guy to be in person in their studio for the Nice Guy Andy podcast. So that's great. And then, of course, we want to shout out also Mike had a great idea for Mayhem. It's kind of like going to be a little mini series. And he's going to interview each of the members of Mayhem and talk about the origins of Mayhem and their, like, each person joining Mayhem and what led to that, and kind of going a little in depth. And it was a great idea. I've already done my episode with him, and we got Connor Clarkson coming up in October. Is it October, Mike?
Yeah.
Yep, it's coming up in October. Plus, we'll also have Nick and Robbie H hopefully on these episodes as well, and the Wolfman. So hopefully we can get through everybody, and I think it's going to be a great series. You definitely want to tune into that if you want to know anything about behind the scenes with Mayhem and stuff. Tune into that, because we'll be talking, whatever Mike wants to ask us, we'll be talking about. So definitely you want to tune into that one. It's going to be a great one.
Hell yeah.
All right. Well, thank you again, Johnny Lee. Mike, we lost you on camera, but we're bouncing out of here. My computer's blowing up. I got to go. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Hit that like button, hit that share button. And until next time, I am your host, JD.
And stay nice.
And stay nice.